Hey folks, this is David Wolf from True Crime Mobile Museum. The video that you're about to watch is about my trip up to Chicago, where I had to do a lecture and show off my True Crime Mobile Museum. In between doing this, I went to several locations of serial killers that were more noticeable up there in the Chicago area. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. And as I always say, thank you very much, and peace and love. Well, thought I'd give you a little bit of an introduction of my traveling trip here on where all I'm going, what all I'm doing, and give you a little lowdown of some of the spots that we're going to record, or I'm going to record, up there in Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City. I can't wait. I'm super excited about this. There's a couple locations that I'm kind of nervous about, but you know, because it's probably not the best neighborhoods, is what I was told. You know, if it looks icky, then unfortunately I won't get to go there. I'll just probably get to talk about it. So I hope that doesn't happen, because that's a big letdown. I hope I get to go to all these spots. Anyhow, till next time when I'm on the road, I'll probably record a little bit more. And oh, cows, cool. Sorry, squirrel moment. I'll record some more if I see something cool or whatever, you know, on my trip up here. So, I guess until the next clip. Okay, so I'm off to go see the Richard Speck place, where he did all his crimes back in the 60s. And so I'm pretty curious to see how this is going to go. This has been quite an adventure, because I had a tire blow out, no spare tire, and had to get it fixed early this morning. With the grace of God, this place across the street fixed it for me, or actually got me a new tire when nobody else around here had a new tire. So God bless these people, and they're great. I don't have the names, unfortunately, but they're here in Whiting, and I'm trying to see if I can see it, but right across the street from where I'm staying at, and great people. So anyhow, we're off to go see the Speck house. Okay, we're almost up to the spot of Richard Speck. On July the 13th and 14th of 1966, Richard Speck broke into a home where these nurses were all staying. I guess some of them were nurses or students and some so forth. And when he broke into there, he captured all of the students, and unfortunately it's a grisly crime. He murdered and raped one of them, murdered, slashed, strangled, whatever he had to do. He killed all these ones except for, he killed all 8 except for one of them. And she actually hid out underneath a bed, I think. Somehow he didn't detect her with all that's going on, plus he was drunk. He forgot about her, and she is the one who turned him in. So we're riding up there to this spot now, and so it's not too bad. I mean, you know, that area thus far. Haven't got here yet though, so I'm gonna turn it around here, show you guys where we're at. In this area here is where we're heading to. I believe it might be just right up ahead. I'm not for sure. So, Richard Speck place. Horrible crime happened here in 1966 in summer. Okay, so we have arrived at the Richard Speck place that I was telling you about, that happened in 1966. And I mean, it's not terrible through this neighborhood. So I've heard some people say be careful coming through here. You know, it's seems to be okay. But here's the spot here. I'm going to turn this around here because I'm not going to stick here too long. I don't want to invade people's privacy and stuff like that. So, but I'm going to turn around here real quick and that is the house right there. The first apartment, as you see. And I'm sure some people probably don't like a lot of people coming around this area and looking around and all that. So it's pretty interesting to know this horrific crime in history took place right here on those dates that I had mentioned earlier. Such a horrific crime. 8 people lost their lives right there. So, yes sirree. But that's it. That's the Richard Speck murder apartment there. So we just came back from, or I just came back, I said we, from the Richard Speck house. I don't know how to feel. It's pretty wild, and it's sad to know that many young girls that died in that place. It's surreal. Very quiet neighborhood. So if you ever go there, just be careful. It's not bad, but not the best part of town. I got out briefly, but real quick, but nobody was there. There was nobody around or anything like that. So overall, pretty good. So my next place I'm going to is the where the murder castle used to be, H.H. Holmes. So I'm here where the murder castle used to be of H.H. Holmes. Some say that he was the very first serial killer in America, which really that's not true. That kind of goes back to the Hart brothers, but that's another episode. But H.H. Holmes did quite a bit of crimes here in Chicago. I'm going to turn this around and show you some of the neat area around here, and then maybe give you a little bit more of a description of what it looks like through this area here. Isn't that neat? Look at all that great looking art. And then I'm going to walk over here real quick and just kind of show you guys around on where the place used to be, which is right there. If I can get across here without getting hit. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, so I'm walking across the street here where the murder castle used to actually be of H.H. Holmes. It's hard to believe that now, because now it's just a post office, And it's wild because this area has such great history, kind of morbid history, unfortunately. H.H. Holmes was a prolific serial killer, kidnapper, did all these bad things back in the 1890s, and had this castle that supposedly had all this weird stuff, where they had contraptions where people would fall, and supposedly he did dissections and murdered tons and tons of people during the World's Fair that took place here in Chicago, which is interesting. People would come here, and some say none stayed there at all during the World's Fair. Some say they did. I don't know. Anyhow, very old post office, which is pretty cool. It's hard to believe that something like that, though, that big, stood right here at one time. I'm just kind of walking down the street here with you guys, showing you what's all around this area here. It's very populated, but there's Aldi across the street, and there's a Walgreens. I don't know if I'm allowed to go inside or not of the post office. It's hard to believe that you're just standing right here where all this great history took place. So I'm about ready to wrap it up here. H.H. Holmes, again, known as a big-time murderer here in Chicago. Involved also, and they said, 50 lawsuits, let alone the killings. This is inside here, which is very beautiful. Look how old it is, too. Very cool, very cool. I didn't want to say too much out loud because there is people in there working and doing things, so. But this is it, folks. This is where the murder castle used to be. Pretty wild, pretty wild. Unto the next stop. Okay, so I am here at the John Wayne Gacy house, and so I've got to be really careful. It's a beautiful neighborhood, actually, but there's people out. I don't want to be disrespectful, so, but I'm going to walk up to the home and try to indiscreetly, you know, maybe take some photos and video if I can. So we shall see. Kind of waiting right now because there is some people out. I don't want to be, again, I'm a very respectful person. I don't want to be rude or anything like that. But this is the neighborhood. I'm going to turn around here. Neighborhood of John Wayne Gacy, where he did all his crimes, which is so kind of bizarre, and I don't know how to explain it. It's very hard to believe. And that's the house right there as we're going past it. That is the John Wayne Gacy house where he committed all his murders. I hope you enjoyed watching that brief documentary of me and my time up in Chicago, searching out serial killers that have done horrible, atrocious things and finding their locations, and maybe even teaching you all a little bit of some of the atrocities that they committed. And hopefully that if you don't get to go to these places, at least by this video, you may learn something and you may actually get to see it yourself. So thank you very much again. God bless each and every one of you, and have a good night.